Okay, hello. Hello, everyone. Hello to Florida. Florida, it's pretty okay. It's East Coast, so it's okay. India, Ukraine, like extremely loud. I see that. This is from the other day, I think. My mic, extremely loud. Why is it so loud? You're telling me my mic is already the wrong thing. Input, it is. I can decrease it. I can make it last, people. 4. Is that any better? Okay, Brogard, hey, maybe I'm just extremely loud today. That's also possible. I have a fresh cup of tea. Okay, it's good. Okay, a fresh cup of tea and lots of nice people. And hey, I've invited Thomas Ballinger on, and which is a delight. So tell me. I fell into a trap basically, and I'm not kidding. I deliberately fell into this trap. This is like totally fine. But basically, I think what did you do, Thomas? You basically. Well, first of all, introduce yourself. Like, who are you? And
oh, sure, yeah, I'm Tom. Appreciate any of my feedback as well. I work at a company called Convex, and as part of that job, and as just a part of trying to learn about the world, I tweeted, "Hey, it was something like, who do I know, or someone tell me about Vue? What's up with this Vue thing? I'd love to know more about it." Which was pretty honest. I have some friends that have done a lot of work on Vue, so worked with Vue, so I was sort of familiar, but I was looking for someone to say, "Hey, I know about this thing and I care about this thing," and I just didn't expect the levels of knowing and caring that I would get from Daniel. This was just great. But yeah, I just wanted to find somebody to like help me figure out, like, learn this Vue thing. The context was, right, I work at this company called Convex. Recently, I've been thinking about clients more. I just wrote a Svelte client and was thinking, oh, it'd be great to have a Vue client. It turns out there's already a community Vue client. I just couldn't really evaluate it because I didn't know Vue at all. So I was looking for exactly this. I just didn't think I'd catch such a big fish, or something, just someone that would be so, I think, anticipating, wonderful to work with, and helpful at learning things.
well, that is very kind of you. But
We'll see. That's a high X bar. Yeah.
Exactly. So basically, I don't know anything about Convex, and I don't think I have created an account, although we might find I have. So I'm identifying myself to Convex. I love GitHub Auth, by the way. Like as in terms of how you sign up for something, it's just so nice. Okay, so I have a project, and like so Convex. What is Convex?
Yeah. Convex is another place to run your code to run a server, right? It was another back into the service is the thing we're supposed to say. I like to think of it as a database because the database is kind of the some of the most interesting bit to me. But it is a place where you push some JavaScript and that JavaScript runs when the clients talk to it. So think Supabase, Firebase. It's got some. I'm trying to do the initial, put you in the right domain first before I tell you my marketing pitch about Convex.
Okay.
But it's a way to run some backend functions, and it's particularly exciting because it's a way to extend reactivity from your Vue app all the way back to the server. So you get to have, you're doing a React thing, you're doing a Svelte thing, and you've got these reactive bits of state in here, like this div is based on these values, it's derived based on these other values, and Convex lets you do that on the server. So here, I think I wrote this snippet long ago. There's something here called create task. This is just a blurb, right? A little helper thing. It's saying, hey, if you wrote this code here, this is a mutation. This is for adding stuff. But there are versions of these called queries where you write some imperative code. Convex runs it, think like every request animation frame or something. Convex just runs your code over and over and over forever. And every time there's a new value, it'll send you down a WebSocket and new version of whatever the response that you wrote on the last line. Whatever data you returned, you're going to get that new value.
Okay, So, but by the way, so my microphone input is my Rode. If it's not working for you, I'll unplug and replug it in again. So I'll do that. Testing. Hopefully that's okay for people. Okay, so it's basically reactivity on the server. That's very cool. So it's a bit like, so this the same thing that you would have on your front end, declarative state, but move it to the back end and have it computed there based on.
Sorry, we just lost. This is my job. I just lost your audio.
Oh,
so I imagine everyone else did too.
You lost my audio. How about this? Any better for you?
Yeah. Yep.
Great.
Right. Audio.
I think when I unplugged and replugged my mic in, it dropped off the call we were on, but I think it's good for everyone on Twitch.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
So basically, I was just saying. So just summarizing what you said, which is basically in the same way as we have declarative state on the front end, Convex lets you have that on the back end, and basically have your front end update to match it. So you can move all of your computed stuff based on presumably your database to the server, and then you just have something that is extremely cool. I really like that. Is there anything else that does that?
Well, there's the real-time services that, like, Supabase has a real-time thing, and that is, you can kind of wire it up similarly. You can say, hey, the difference with Convex is that all of your queries work like this. That's kind of the default, is a query to which you can subscribe if that's the thing that you want. So instead of saying, oh, I need some channels, and this is or a room, right? Like, you're doing a chat thing, and so you do a room, and then maybe you tell your framework about the room, and you say, I need these messages to propagate to these other user IDs or something. And Convex is a little more granular in that you just query the data that you'd like to be, whatever database rows you read or indexes you access ranges of are what will reactively update.
Okay.
It's got to be other things that do this, right? It's not that deep an idea, but it's I think it being the default is what's different.
So what's the problem? So why did you set the trap? What is there a?
Yeah.
Is there? Do you need a Vue integration for this?
Right, we need a Vue integration for this, and just because Vue is a community we care about. Vue is such a exciting community that there's already a Vue integration.
Okay.
A community member wrote a Vue integration, and actually I thought better of this a couple days ago and said, oh shoot, I should. That would have been the person. If I could do this perfectly, it would be that you would be hosting this community member named Daria, and he has written this library called Convex Vue, and I think it might just be Convex-Vue might do it, or just maybe just swapping the order of those words would do it. Nope. Vue Convex?
Not Convex Vue, maybe Vue Convex. No. Is it a
what was it?
template? I see there's a template.
Convex-Vue is a
Is it
maybe
Loic?
not on NPM. Let's see.
Is this the person?
Yes. Loic
Okay.
Pennequen, yeah.
So probably
Yep.
they have but it's not just a template, it is also a...
Yeah, which repo is this? This is a template. Maybe if you go back to their GitHub, if you go to their GitHub profile, we could find that they also have a library. Let's see, Vue Convex, which is
Convex Vue.
updated more recently. Yeah, this guy. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it's just not yet. Oh, it's under namespace at Convex Vue.
Okay,
it seems.
okay, there it is. Yeah.
Oh, there's a Nuxt integration. Okay,
There
so
is,
this is
and I asked Daria yesterday, and he said, "Oh, the Nuxt integration isn't done." Oh no, you're going to talk to Daniel. That's someone that I would want to show a done thing to. So I need to have that caveat that
is he around? Like, shall we get him in?
He said he might be able to make the stream. Here, I'll open my chat. He said he was at work during these hours, so would not be able to join the stream. Was his claim?
Oh, he won't be able.
He will not.
Loic, if you are around, say, and there's a space in between the two of us. You could be there, Loic. But at work, I mean, that's tricky. I have every sympathy, right? Okay, this seems fun. So, don't save. So basically, what we can do is clone this and maybe make a PR to it.
That'd be terrific. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Cool. And then also my personal goal here is to just vampire some knowledge out too.
Don't mind me just closing the door so we get a pet.
Entering the background called attention for me to your a lot of beautiful wood in that room. It's terrific.
Oh, thank you. It's not really. So I'm currently in a rented flat in Edinburgh, and so actually none of the furniture is mine. But thank you.
Okay. Well, I imagine it didn't factor into your choice, but I guess I'm complimenting your rental choice.
Yeah. No, it's.
I'm renting right now as well, and I appreciate any compliments, and all the time I have to say, oh yeah, that was a choice that the landlord made, and that was not why I chose the place, but I like it too.
Okay, so we basically are going to fork this repo and explore it, I guess. Open up a code, make it a bit bigger. Oh, people want people to... I am going to hate to do this, but I probably have to move this to the left so people can see it.
Ah, right. Jason Langsdorff taught me that. That
is
trick.
Awful. I much prefer it on the right, honestly, because it's just it doesn't move your code around when you open and close it. But
that's what he showed me, and I've been trying to switch, but I just can't do it. Yeah.
Okay, so we actually have a Nuxt package, but I see. It's quite early, so that's fine. We can immediately do so. Okay, so we'll create a new branch and we'll say why? We'll say Nuxt module. My mic is off. Why is my mic off, people? How is that? How can that be? Properties. I can only think. My mic is clear. Okay. Sylvia, nice to see you. I love it. And Joaquin, oh, and thank you, John, for the sort of reaffirmation. The mic is too loud. I can decrease the volume of the mic. Okay, hopefully this is a bit better. Frozen Spirit, nice to see you. Yeah, it is this. Everything says it's this. My OS says it's this. That's just my headphones. Right. Okay, so basically we can do a couple of very quick things. So let's just quickly replace this with Convex View Nuxt. And then we'll do something like Convex integration for Nuxt. Oh, but is this the aim, by the way, Tom?
Well, so I have not used this library at all. Basically, I was just poking at it, and so one aim would be basically, I believe there are community members using this library. I believe it works. One of the things I'd like to do is write the official docs that say, "Hey, there's this community project," and point to it. And I just haven't seen it work yet. So that would be, but the baseline for me is just like, great, this is a real thing. It works. I can now, make a little quick start that I put on our official site and say, hey, check out this community project. But yeah, if there were Nuxt integration, would be terrific. It sounds like that's the next thing Daria wanted to work on. It can either be from us looking at what is missing, hearing from you what next steps would be to do that, or whatever is useful.
Cool.
I can always spiel about or not spiel. We could always create a project using Convex that is using this just to see it all hooked up, and there could be some interesting reactivity stuff. So Convex tries to provide consistent client views such that if you have multiple queries, we return the values at the same logical timestamp. And there are always tricky bits with that around batching and some, you want to know, all right, am I convinced that if I had one query we tried to access foreign keys in the other query result, can we be confident that those two will be at the same logical time? There's just these tricky bits that I think you might be particularly equipped to talk about, but also just getting anything working would be great.
Cool. Okay, let's do it. So I'm just bumping some versions of some config here and getting this set up. This is probably extremely boring. There's some changes. Is there any ESLint stuff outside Nuxt? Yes, it looks like there is ESLint 8, so we'll just ignore that. But we can at least install the package's dependencies. And then what we'll do, so a Nuxt module comes with a playground, which is how you develop the module and also how you write tests for the module. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but it simplifies the process. And so we can build something there, which we can then also use to test the module and test the Vue integration all in one place. So like it's a lot of things you can do it in the same bit of doing that.
I was just this is just me as I'm learning about things, saying it's probably not useful to most people, but yeah, I was just building the Svelte version, and I was like, oh yeah, they get there's an opinion, which is that yeah, if you're doing a SvelteKit library, you ought to have this other piece over here, which is a demonstration of the library, and they're not using it for tests as much, but a playground like thing, and that makes a lot of sense. I've had to have some other projects where it's always the library and then a whole separate repo or yeah. That makes sense to have a standard there. That's great.
So this is basically the default module template. So in here, like the latest one has the ESLint version 9, and this project is still on 8. So I'm not going to upgrade it to version 9, but it's relatively straightforward to do that. We now have like an ESLint flat config for version 9 support. So that's pretty nice. We have the playground for testing. We also have Nuxt test utils, which allow you to run tests against and make some statements, like assertions about it. So both like a server-side end-to-end test, which can make statements about the HTML, but also we have a browser testing environment, and we might end up doing something like that today in order to write some assertions about what we want to happen. So we can do that. And now let's open up the playground. So, hey Florent. Florent, if you ping me the link of your Nuxt modules, I might be able, even on stream, to upgrade them if they are public. Okay, we're going to run the dev sub against the playground. And okay, there's the playground. It's not doing a lot, but it exists. So what do we have? We have our lose the bar, lose the thing, and we've got okay, app.view, and it just says hello. So we presumably have some code module. Okay, it doesn't do anything. Okay, there's no module basically. This is just the this is just pretty basic. Okay, so I'm just going to very quickly run an automation here. So don't mind me as I just fire up this. And hopefully that will upgrade us to ESLint version 9. Okay, while we're doing that, so what does this Convex view package do? So it has, okay, it has a README, I guess. So, okay, we have some package dependencies. We have a plugin, and then we run app use, and then we have some composables. Okay, this is super. So basically, we are going to need to make sure that those are dependencies in here, in our module. Oops, we're just going to start a new one. Okay, so packages Nuxt, and we're going to add those as our dependencies. Do we really need view use core? I guess we do. And we are going to, is that really required? I wonder if that's just an accident. View use core. Oh no, it uses this until function. Okay. And then we have this thing that registers convex view. And in Nuxt, we would do that in a plugin. So we basically have access to basically everything that this tells us to do. So we can add our import. We can do this within the plugin, which means it will be done fresh for every request. And then we can get access to the Vue app like this. And there we go. So we've registered our Convex Vue plugin this way.
So just from things you've said so far, the fresh for every request sounds scary to me because that, well actually I don't know. I need to be familiar with this code. So Convex in general is for client-side stuff. It is a WebSocket, like a stateful thing that you'd expect to persist for a while to keep receiving, updates. But then also there, for the server-side bits, there are the, you can do an HTTP request and get the results at a specific timestamp without subscribing to it. And so often the SSR solution will be grab the result at a specific timestamp, and then once you get to the client, you will hydrate with that same one, and then proceed from there. So actually, I don't know if creating I don't know what it is that we're creating for each request. If that's so this whole thing may just be me asking a lot of questions. This is great.
No, this is very good. I'm just inviting Megadaria onto stream, who is the author of Convex Vue. So hopefully,
great. Oh, terrific.
I've just spotted that there was a sort of a note in chat that I obviously was slightly out of sync. But basically, I'm sure we can make that. It might involve some. Oh, you can't join the stream. Oh, never mind.
Yeah,
okay.
He was saying you can just watch. Yeah.
Very cool that you're here. Okay. So oh, there's a next branch. I've already started it. Is it
okay? See, this would have helped context. I'm sorry. I should have. Yeah. Great.
Well, is it worth? Should we switch to that? Like, let's see. Next branch. We have got indeed a next branch. And what does it do? 7 commits ahead. So basically, okay, lots of stuff. Okay, right. So sorry about this. Let me just stash the current changes. So git add, git stash, save, and let's switch to Nux. And let's redo what we did, which was that we wanted to upgrade our Nux steps, which might still be the case. And reinstall. Meanwhile, okay, Florent, so I probably need to just switch over and see. Okay, we have got some changes. It might not be perfect, but we have an initial PR to make. So migrate to ESLint version 9. This is a chore. Okay, never mind. Okay, this probably will have tests failing. And this PR, by the way, Florent, already makes the change to your editor. So I've added a settings.json here that adds it. And basically, I've configured the default ESLint config to be the right one for module authors. I've bumped your ESLint dependencies and run lint step on the whole repo. And it's obviously produced a lot of issues. Feel free to change the rules if you prefer one way or another way. The other thing is I'm not 100% convinced it might still fail. So there might be some issues that couldn't be auto-fixed. And obviously, I did this with no attention because we were streaming about something else, but hopefully it's a helpful step, and I'm happy to have a little bit of a further look if that would be useful. So I could just try quickly checking. Is it PNPM? Yeah. Let's just see. So So actually, it's very, very minor. Sorry, because it's so small. Expect error. What are we saying? Like, interesting. Oh, I think we just move that there.
Yeah.
And I think we do probably exactly the same. Oh no, Stripe version is not typed. You can make those better, of course. Chore fix add ts expect error explanations. Okay, so I think that's good. I think the lent will pass now, and hopefully that will get you up to date to ESLint version 9. I love a good automation, right? Okay, so so here we are. So we've installed our sorry, Tom.
We're fine. No, this is terrific.
Okay.
The level at which I'm at is like I'm gaining context with all these things. This is the kind of thing. I watched a couple of your streams and I was able to recorded old ones, and I there's a lot of context, right, to be and learn just watching. I guess I don't need to be on the stream. I could just be watching for that. But anyway, it's very helpful. It's good stuff.
Okay, we cannot. This is weird. View clerk or its corresponding type definitions. In here, is that not?
Okay, this is wow.
It's a dependency. Why is the dependency not available to us? Interesting. Is it? It's not installed. Do we have some kind of workspaces config? Yeah. We also need to specify that we have, this is packages Nuxt playground, I guess. Maybe that's why it wasn't being installed.
There he is, great.
There's some people who say that NPM is just as fast as PNPM. That has never been my experience. Okay. Still not. Oh, I think we need to run the build step. And so probably what we need to do here is, this is probably the simplest. So post install maxi prepare and npm run dev prepare. Okay, and let's just try that again. We also, I think, want to do one more thing. I just want to check that we are correctly using the latest. Excellent, we are doing the latest. Oh, so actually we just need to run this. Actually, that's probably fine. Okay, so I want to see that it's running that prepare step. Why on earth? Okay, what is this failing at? This is a different error. Failed to resolve entry for convex view core. And this is probably because it hasn't yet been built. So I think Turbo probably needs to, that's so weird. So the module the playground has to depend on the module or it won't know that. So we're going to say this is going to depend on convex view Nuxt, I guess. Let's try that again. This kind of thing is really easy to miss when you're setting something up for the first time, because locally it works fine because you have already built some other thing, and so you don't have to get the dependency tree set up. Okay, so we failed to resolve a type from here, and basically the props. So this is a peculiarity of, yes, that probably is what we need to do. This is a peculiarity of Vue, which is that it can transform like types into runtime validation code. And
what?
I know, but it is tricky because it passes it with AST, and then it turns that. So like props. So this, for example, like Nux link props and these things can be passed and turned into like a runtime validator to check that this is a Boolean and this is a number. Personally, I find it to be a little bit worrying, but yeah. I prefer to avoid it if possible. But there's no way in this case because this is a convex link which needs to extend from Convex Vue Nuxt. Now, why? Can I just say workspace protocols? Probably not. How can I? It's trying to install this from the registry. Why is it doing that?
Okay, yeah, I was wondering that. Yeah.
So I just want to add it. I mean, it worked fine the first time. So we'll just say TypeScript latest and install it. Maybe that will work better. Oh, it's because I'm running it from this. I have to run it from the root, I guess. No, Convex Vue Nuxt latest. Why? Why this is okay, so we're basically just going to say the upper directory.
How are we doing? So I'm mostly familiar with, I've done some Rush, a little bit. Is this Turbo? That's how we're dealing with how are these projects how are these different npm projects supposed to be talking to each other?
So, well, Turbo and npm workspaces. Okay, so npm workspaces, got it. But npm workspaces are just not. That's why you have projects like, Learner and so on. Like I don't think npm workspaces are just fully there. Mm-hmm. Okay. Why? So it's complaining about, I understand this. I understand why it's complaining, because it doesn't have the type yet for Nux link props. So why doesn't it have the type for Nux link props? It's probably because this tsconfig here might somehow not be, no, it seems to be fine. So we have a tsconfig that's generated by Nuxt. The playground also has a tsconfig and also seems to be fine. So let me just try.
Daria says works on my machine, which is great, which means this is useful, important work that we're doing right now.
Exactly. Well, it is right. Oh, there was a something running in the background that might easily have been the thing. So packages Nux playground and prepare that as well. And let's just hope that was it. Okay, so npm run build, fingers crossed. No. Nope, same error. Megadarius, was this your thing? Was this what was holding you up? Were you somehow encountering this? It's complaining it needs Convex Vue core view router.
From what we chatted about, it sounds like I don't think so.
Now, ideally, anything you import from needs to be a dependency. So convex view core, I think we need this convex view core. But maybe the problem is why? Let me just reload the window just to make sure, because sometimes my VS Code, I don't know about yours, gets
Absolutely,
out of sync.
Yeah, that's my. It's usually the restart type script thing, but the full reload's the safest.
So it might be. Okay, it's now fine. Okay, so all that red is right. Which is a problem because when you're trying to figure out why something isn't working. Okay, so we have more things working. I think I might manually do some installations. So we have got the we want to build everything but the playground for the moment. Oh, and what is our turbo config here? So we have Is that really relevant? Do you have next packages in here? I don't think so. This is just the default from their thing. So I think it's going to be something more like dist, and
yeah, it says that's a default. Yeah,
I feel dist is right. The build of convex view is going into dist as well. So I think that's probably correct. Okay, so we have convex view core is built, and now we're having the type error again. Let's head back into here. And the issue is that the NuxLink props are, maybe let's try importing them from components NuxLink. See if that helps at all. And the question, I guess, is where TypeScript is and whether it's, so normally Vue would say that we can just try this for the moment because we really want to get to the point of building. Interesting. Oh. Prefetch is Boolean anyway, so this doesn't need to be specified. And prefetch timeout. What is it complaining about? They want it in the form of an interface, so we'll just say that that's what it thinks should work. Okay. Okay, so we have a build. Let's go into our playground and run a dev server and also see what the module is doing. So we've got I think we can mark this as ready for review and just open our dev server. Missing clerk secret key or API key. That feels like an expected thing. So we need to have a secret key. And now, is clerk associated with Convex?
It's not. So clerk doesn't have like a built-in auth thing. So when folks want auth for their apps, we say, hey, go check out Clerk, or go use Google Auth or something like that.
Okay.
But that means I think in a playground it'd be very reasonable to not use auth. Although I could imagine that that's a integration that Dart is wanting to be able to test out in there.
Yeah.
But I guess if I had a playground, I would start without auth.
Okay. So, right. Okay. So we basically have a secret key that's required, and probably, I mean, it's obviously totally unfair to judge any of this because it's not done and not documented.
Right.
And
this is very much. I'm the guilty party here, where I said, hey, someone help me understand this, and Dart had been busy for a few days, and so I asked the internet, but.
So no judgment
typically,
in any
you
way.
ask the maintainer of a library, and then they can tell you, "Wait, why don't you finish till I'll finish documenting it, and I have my job." But come on, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We've got some stuff. So basically, we have two variables we probably need to set. So one is the convex URL, which is that this is the key that we'll set, and the other is the Clerk publishable key, which is this one. And both of those seem to be should be safe to share. So let's see.
Yeah, I might have the account. I can send you one, or we could go through a Clerk thing. Let's see.
Great, let's do it. It looks like we might also need a secret key, which we can see where we handle that too.
See, I'm not sharing my screen, so I can just go to whatever website I want.
You can. You are totally free, and I can also do stuff off screen. So if I need to get a .env file across.
Let's see. And I probably just have I'll actually go to their site. Yeah.
So Convex, if you can go to convex.dev, but basically the way Tom explained it a moment ago, I hadn't any idea what it was. It's a backend which is effectively reactive. So you can do things like define queries that automatically update based on the query value and send it proactively via WebSocket to your client. So basically you can move your view logic out of your client side. And so you're not managing I'm going to do a fresh request and we do another request from your client. It basically just automatically happens via WebSocket, which seems extremely cool. So anyway, but yes, you can check it out, convex.dev. And they seem, actually, what is the free tier? Is there must be a free tier because I have an account somehow.
Oh yeah. The free tier is there's a bunch of limits. What is it? You only get, I don't know, some number of requests. If you go to convex.dev/pricing, I think it is, outlines the.
Cool. Okay, so 1 to 2 developers, 5 projects, and then no preview deployments. You can't have custom domains for your backend, it looks like.
Yeah, neither can Pro at the moment, but in a couple of weeks that'll be done.
Okay, 1 million function calls, 20 gigabyte hours. Seems pretty good. Seems like a pretty good free tier. So, what happens if you Have you ever had anyone go over the million function calls?
Yes, absolutely. So the way we've implemented the billing is that it doesn't you'll get a notification about it, and then also you get, it's 1 or 2 days per month where if you go over, we just ignore it, and then emails start happening.
Okay.
And we're still at the stage where it's like, hey, let's chat. What's going on here? You'll get an automated email. People will get the emails from students saying, "Yikes! I had a use effect loop that caused 1 million requests to come in. Like help me." And so things like that happen. The claim is that you will be disabled eventually.
Yeah.
But right now that involves some chatting, like, "Hey, what's up here?" There are policies, not automated cron jobs doing this.
And the function calls, that's like a request coming in. That's not because you said that every request animation frame you're rerunning something.
Sure, right. No, and those count too. So it's a good thing that it's not actually every request animation frame. Instead, what we do is you run the function and then we track the read set of that function. So we say which database rows were accessed here. But yeah, every time that is invalidated, if you have an active subscription on that will be a new function invocation. Okay. So you declare your dependencies basically just by reading those database rows, And it is possible to read from something, have thousands of users that all have a query. I mean, it'll be cached if it's a shared thing between a bunch of users. But if each user also, did some authentication stuff that was specific to their user, and that same function was reading something that was running a lot, or that was changing a lot, yes, you could end up with a lot of function implications. Yeah. And that's some of the optimization you do in Convex is trying to think about the read sets of each of your functions and tracing those dependencies, which is kind of similar to, you're in a reactive UI framework and you're trying to say, oh, I better memo that, or I better wire this up such that that's not happening all the time.
Yeah.
Let's see, I sent you a publishable key, and now I'm going to send you a secret key in the way we've been communicating previously.
Okay, and you're happy for the publishable key just to be, I can also do it
fine.
Secretly. Okay.
Private key. Great.
And the question is, I need to figure out what it's expecting the key to be, what the environment variable is. So we have, what is it wanting it to be? Oh, here we are. Convex URL. So no, that's the public one. And this is the convex URL. So I need to figure out.
The only private key is the clerk one. Yeah.
So we need to figure out how do we configure this? And this is maybe H3 clerk. Because that seemed to be there as well. And so that has a clerk secret key. Okay. And also a clerk publishable key, which is probably the same as the other one. So just popping some stuff in. Okay. And now I have got, now I have got also to grab a URL from Convex, I think. So how do I get that URL?
Right here. Yep. And there's a command line tool that will kind of automatically populate it, but that seems good for now. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so going back to the editor, just restart the dev server, and hopefully stuff will just work. Amazing. Okay, this is super cool. So okay, we have got a clerk form, we have to-dos. Okay, and we're I need to authenticate, I guess. So I'm going to go by Google, and I'm hoping the flow works. Ooh, it's flickering a bit. This doesn't seem good. I'm in an infinite loop.
Oh, no.
Sign out. Sign out.
You could, now that you've got the cookies there, you could try to refresh and see if the...
Weird. Something's gone wrong. And this is totally unfair, and it's okay, so
yes, it is.
429, too many requests, basically. I have DDoSed clerk, and they're
oh, maybe
sorry.
that could be an issue. I just used an existing one that I was using for test stuff, that I've done test stuff before. That could totally be my fault. Here, let me just spin up another one here. API keys.
Okay, quickly.
Here's a new public key. And here's a new private key. And these are, again, not important. I'm share them.
I might be needed for just a moment, Tom.
Oh, yeah.
Back with you in a sec.
This is where I get to, this is my captive audience to pitch Convex. But I think Daniel already described it. It's the, oh shoot, my sponsored message is over.
No. Oh, I'm sorry, Sean. VTest mocks. When they don't work, they are... Let's see. Okay, so, right. Okay, we have a new public key, which I will update. Add a new private key. Always a joy. I mean, thank you so much for giving me these keys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm going to try not to leak or destroy any. Right. Okay, so I have just added those in the .env file, and let's try that again.
Right. We're hoping. Okay, we still have some. See, some red. Oh, we're not there yet. Right.
Okay, so we now have the sign-in screen again. My T3 app. Thank you. Continue. Authorize. And
A little happier.
no, it's doing a loop.
Oh no,
again.
no! Our loop.
Stop.
Well, is the loop? Is it the clerk loop? Is it?
Why is it looping? Yeah, doing it again. Stop.
The next thing I'd be curious about is let's see where we fix this. Flex, sure, that's fine. Because I'd be curious. We could rip off out. But it depends on how integrated that is into the into the library.
So let's do that. Let's rip it out. So because we just want to see like how the module is working, or I mean, like it may be that this is just something that. It looks like Megadaria has got it.
We may have reached the bug. Yeah. I mean, actually, what Dari was saying was, hey, yeah, there's some issues with the clerk. Oh, I think we just hit the edge of the integration.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the reasonable next step could still be ripping off out and saying, all right, let's see how this is working without.
Love coming in. Little thing that was my nanny.
I did. I felt love coming in.
Did it come out your mouth and go into the and here into the ear? Did it say, "Nanny is cuddling Lou"?
Yes. It did. Come for another cuddle. Ah, good. Ah.
Daddy, look today what I have.
Oh.
It is and this.
What happened on that finger?
What's this?
It looks sticky and goopy.
I have a today. It's look. I think the splinter from the body is getting sorted out.
Amazing! It's gone.
When I touch something, it isn't hot.
It's gone. Hurrah!
Now I don't need to do it with one hand. Everything. Look, do you see nothing?
I don't see it.
Did it be sorted out? Did it be sorted out? Maybe all the days in the house, or maybe the other day, it got sorted out. Hey! Look, Neddy, let's go to the shop.
Okay, I'll see you later, Neddy. Last hug.
Then you'll feel suddenly love coming in. Did it go through those? Did it say?
I felt the love.
Did it say? Neddy was coming!
I did.
And then suddenly torn about.
I did. And you were there.
Bye.
Bye.
That's terrific.
Okay.
Daria says he ripped out auth, so we could pull from branch, and we'll get a no auth version.
Cool. Okay. I mean, we have done some stuff, so we don't want to totally lose it.
That's true. Yeah.
But hopefully we'll just rebase on top of that. So so this is all
Also,
workspace
you probably know
related.
this, but I saw a little notification saying Vue.js meeting.
Ah,
A little,
yeah,
a
no,
reminder
don't worry
thing.
about that. Okay,
Okay,
so
great.
I think I'll just update that. Okay, right. And we'll just say sorry, Megadare. Like honestly, it's just such a pain. I'm sorry about this. Okay, so we're just going to
This is all my fault. This is I engineered this. It's my fault.
chore workspace configuration. Okay, and pull. Fetch upstream. Get rebase upstream next. And yes, we have got some merge conflicts. I'm not surprised. Thankfully, we should be able just to... Did that resolve it? Okay, cool. Great. Okay, so rebase done. So we'll just rerun our... Oh, we don't need to even rerun our build. I think we just go back and npm Nuxi dev playground. And hopefully, fingers crossed, oh, the other thing, of course, is that maybe Megadaria has some table or something set up and we don't. That might also be a thing, I guess. So this is complaining about
check out the errors we get. Yeah. Oh my. Let's see.
Oh. Oh, come on, API. Right. Cool. Okay, so we're in. We have to-dos, and it's not doing anything, presumably because we need a to-do table. So what is the...
That's a reasonable guess, but in Convex, we just create those tables whenever you insert to them.
Really?
So that's not the... It's probably something like that. But in general, so if you hit functions here, I think we'll see that we have no... none of these functions is my guess.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so we need to push some code to this deployment.
Okay. And we do that...
Somewhere in there, somewhere in there's probably a directory called Convex, and we need to run a command line tool that might be part of the package.json run scripts or something, or might not. And if it's not, we would run npx convex dev.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
It is. Okay, that's very cool. Okay, so see the playground and presumably we do this normally when we are... Okay, I'll do that. Yes.
This is where you just say, yeah, that looks familiar. It's an interesting auth.
No, it was a nice experience. Okay, so existing project, and yes, that's the one. Cool. I love it. I love a good CLI. Only have to set auth0 domain, but I think we probably don't actually have to, right? That's probably another one that was just being tested.
Yes. So we could, what I would do is delete the auth.config.ts file inside the Convex directory.
Okay. Oh, cool. So this is like this then is done in watch mode and constantly updates Convex.
Yes. Right.
Cool. And we've got everything. So we've got our functions, data.
Yeah.
I love so much that this means that your functions are defined in your code base. Like that is so much the right thing. Okay. And this is an example, or is this actually live code?
That is the list one. Yeah. So this is, because we clicked on list, this is showing us the, what's the name of this? To-dos :list function. So just all the exports in the Convex directory, every module in there is going to get bundled separately and uploaded, and each of those can define multiple of these Convex functions, we call them, and they're going to be mutations and queries. The queries are ones we could subscribe to, and the mutations are changes you can make to the database.
Okay, cool. That's good. Okay, and I can see it directly, and this is just my code. like the code from the
Yes.
project, even down to the comment. So that's great, and it's just highlighting this is the thing that you're clicking into. Cool.
Yep. And if you could hit that little FN thing in the bottom right of the browser,
Cool.
we can like run these functions if we want. So you could select the current instead of paginated list if you choose in this. Oh, they should auto select there. But yeah, we could do this list thing, and it should.
But there are none because we haven't added.
I see.
Yet,
Okay,
I
yeah,
think.
there are none. Yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah. So we have UI to do it. So if we didn't have UI, we could in the function runner in the dashboard run these manually. But we've got a beautiful UI here. We can just hit submit. Great. We have 3.
My dev server isn't running, so I have to rerun it.
Oh, got it. Right.
So basically, then I should now. Oh, they're already updated. So I see everything. Test, more stuff, etc. Cool. And there's my local host again. Let's refresh now that. Okay, yep, and I see it. I delete it, switch back. It's already gone. That's so nice. And presumably you're using Convex itself to power this UI.
Parts of it, yeah. There, gosh, we go back and forth on that because we'd love to be dogfooding it, and also if Convex is down, we want this stuff to work somewhat. But yeah, a lot of this is powered by Convex. Yeah. But it makes using other UIs, GitHub being the classic example, right? Where GitHub, I mean, I think it's gotten better in some ways, but you're looking at a view and you have to refresh the page because you took an action that didn't affect it. And once you get used to this, everything being reactive, you just have to put yourself back in that mindset of, oh no, I might be looking at stale data.
How complex can these, how complex would this get in a production environment? Like if you're talking about, could you build GitHub on this?
Yeah, I mean, the claim is yes, right? Like the scaling things are where we're, we have people doing, making up numbers, large numbers of requests. That's where you'd run into things. And the other is, I mean, no one's built so large an application as GitHub on this yet. So I think if you did that, you'd come back to us with some feedback like, hey, this file-based routing that you're requiring us to do inside this Convex directory isn't working for us, for example. Or who knows? I think there are pieces to be explored still of like, hey, I have a 4 million line code base. I found these abstractions limiting to me. I think that's where there's some potential changes, but the goal is, this really could scale out. Cool. And we have some startups using Convex for kind of their whole apps, and those are starting to get pretty complicated. Some pretty complicated apps.
Yeah. Okay, so just do a few quick. So the use convex, use action, that's good. So these will then be automatically imported, except. So I would suggest, by the way, that we use action, use mutation, use root loader. These are pretty generic terms if they're auto-imported. So I would tend to recommend that we do something like use convex action, use convex mutation, use convex root loader. Obviously, if you import directly from Convex View Core, you do use action. But if you're just accessing it in a generic context, I think use convex action makes more sense. We also have the composables directories. These are provided by this. Now, again, okay, a class, that's good. Query SSR. Oh, no, that's also part of the thing. Okay, use paginated query. I would also suggest that use paginated query and use query should be use convex. Oh yeah, it is use convex query. Because just for clarity, in a large project, use query could be a lot of things. And this is also use convex paginated query. Perfect. Oh, sorry, Tom, it looks like Rigora has a question for you.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So what Oxers versus other services like Supabase? Yeah, one is, I think that's fair, that Convex is more opinionated and definitely more reactive. Other services have reactive things, but they're often oriented more like messages, where you say, hey, this is a way I could subscribe, pub sub kind of APIs, where the Convex one is by default more declarative. I am generally saying, give me the current value of this query at this time. The consistent client views is a difference too. the idea that I can subscribe to multiple of these queries in different parts of my app and then expect them to all be updated at the same logical timestamp, as compared to some other APIs, maybe a REST API where each portion of my UI might pull at different behinds. And Sondage, there's a WebSocket behind this, and I'm still thinking about RegretX's. Let's see what else. I mean, I think there's this focus on transactions that we'd really like you to be writing your application with most of these things being transactions. And again, that's kind of a default where first you can have transactions in other systems. But in Convex, each one of your mutations in query, and more important mutations, each mutation is a transaction. And so you're not thinking about, I mean, it's like writing SQL, and that this is code that's running inside your database. So for example, you're fine doing many queries inside of one of these functions, whereas in some other systems you might be more careful about crafting a complicated SQL query because your server and your database have some distance between each other. Whereas in Convex, they really are the same. They're running on the same box, and that's not totally true, right? But they are very close together, and so it's reasonable to do a bunch of it's reasonable to write complicated JavaScript in a query because it's going to run quickly.
Like, it seems great. I'm like, one question I have is a moment ago when so that flicker when we had the like dummy text and then test, like ideally I would like, is that produced somehow, is that required to be?
No, I'm curious about that. I wonder if that's well, first I'm curious if that submit button is causing a refresh, right? If it's kind of being server rendered each time, or if that's client side.
Okay, so we have some links. Now I don't know why we have a special update. We have a convex link. Okay, we probably shouldn't do this. So basically, one thing we can do is, so this is preload. It looks like it's preloading data. So I think if we're here, we click there, it loads. But here, if we hover over to-dos and then click, actually it's the same behavior. But basically, this, you shouldn't need to create a new link component to do this, because we have a hook into which you, so like this is so we have a hook in Nux itself. So here, and you may already have considered this, Megadaria. So if so, let me know. But basically, we have a this link prefetch thing, where it calls this when something is in view on the screen. So it's not over mouse over, but it's like on the screen. And this is when we do the internal Nux preload, like we'll prefetch payloads and things that are required to display this other page. So what you could do is hook into that like in your plugin, rather than doing it in the in here. So
it's interesting. We should look at what's happening in there, because it may be that what Daria is doing is subscribing to that query ahead of time. And I could imagine saying, like, actually, I don't want to subscribe to all the queries of every page that's linked from here, but the right time to do that is on mouse over.
Yeah. So this is what is happening. So this is there's a use convex mutation, and which I guess is provided by this this view library, which we could have a look at in a second. But basically, on success, it resets the to-do text value and focuses back on the input. Then the optimistic update is that we get the current value, I guess, of the list. And then we set...
This is API for manually, similar to React query or something, or Vue query similar, I think. Just saying in the local cache, use this value to compensate.
Oops, sorry, I'm back. We're back. So basically, Megadaria says that the link subscribes to the query ahead of time, and you need to specify the values in the page metadata here, like with this loader. And you can do that in just, I don't think you need a convex link for it. It's totally up to you, of course. But basically, I think you would be able to do this within link prefetch and accessing the same things. So what you would do is you would have a plugin which would like register and subscribe, and you can also access the routes like this. We need to import. And use router. And so what we will then be able to do is we now have a list of the routes of the app, and we can do something like next app hook link prefetch. And basically what we would be able to do there is like we've got at this point a path. And we could basically actually do it more like this. So root is router.resolve link, and then we want to get access to what the loader information. So you have this which is available on the meta. So that. So you would basically be able to do something like meta loader, and then this is going to give you the access to do the loading. And so that would then enable whatever the user sets for the preload behavior of that link to be respected like within the convex behavior. And so you could preload whatever you needed to do. So like like this could be a good pattern. That way you don't need a convex link specially. It's just that you define stuff in relation to the page. And this is then what happens like in the plugin. But again, it's just a suggestion.
Cool. And yeah, Dar's saying so likes that idea. It sounds like was saying previously was just porting stuff directly from the view one. It looks like. Okay,
and so the question then for me, like understanding like how it works here, because we have the to-dos page, I guess, which has has the paginated list. Oh, it has the optimistic update. So if we didn't do an optimistic update, presumably nothing changes until we have a round trip, I guess. So we would do like round trip, and then it's synchronous, but it takes a little bit longer. So I guess the question here is what we probably somehow want to do is know, how do we know? We have the optimistic update.text. Is that what we do? Could we just say like context.tech? Like how do we get access to the thing that we are pushing?
Looks like we're just, I think it would just be, or all these, this is just another object in this, another property in this object here. So I think we also have access to to-do.value. Well, I guess that's going to run first, though.
Oh yeah, I guess we do. Okay, so presumably we would just do that then. And so then we would say new item. Okay, that feels good.
Great.
So basically,
and as an example, if we wanted, if we could stick another property on there or something to make it grayed out, or I think there are situations where you don't have enough information, right? Or you don't.
Yeah.
You want to communicate that it's not saved yet, but that's the exception. I think this is better. This is great.
Okay, well we have this like optimistic ID, which is can we use that? Can we basically say like, what would we say? Like,
sure, yeah.
Class, is Tailwind involved in this project? Can I? No. I'll just do a style. So style.
Great, styles.
Absolutely, they're coming back, right? So would be color is to-do.id equals optimistic ID, gray, or set, right? So like we could presumably do. Oh, is it complaining? Something happening? No.
Okay.
Oh, it's fine. No, why am I not seeing any text? What have I done?
Let's see.
Have
Did
I
we
done something?
add a setting it to empty string somewhere?
What if I put this in? I added a style.
Or be in the other spot where we. The spot where I said, hey, we could probably just use to do dot or I
Oh
think
yeah,
we
at the
could use
top,
the input of
up
value.
here.
Yeah. Inside that optimistic update. But that seems fine. Huh.
That's really weird. That for some reason I
We've
can't
messed
type
up
into
the
that now.
state somehow. Yeah.
This is probably something I created, right? So we have the. No, those should be the
Daria
bits
says
of
to do dot value. Let's see.
But that's I think we've done
that's
that
previous.
already.
That's old. Yeah.
And but for some reason this style binding here seems to be the issue. Oh, and that actually only applied over here. It didn't apply using the root loader. Basically, what have I done wrong? Color is.
There's no way, right? That doesn't have any side effects.
So I'll just make it an empty string. Do we get some kind of... This is very, very weird, isn't it? Okay. Oh, maximum call stack size.
Oh, okay. Is to do dot value a fancy reactive thing that's gonna trigger some other stuff?
So let me just I'll do this with a string. So it may be that I've just forgotten how to do stuff. So we'll just say like we'll say color gray. Okay, is that fine? Style, like you can pass styles as either strings or oh no, it's coming from this.
I think it's gotta be, yeah.
This API. API path is expected to be part of the form. So somehow this is probably coming from the to-do. So if I have a look at the to-do component, we have... Oh, it's not working because we have... there's no one element. It's a label and then a button. And so I can't just apply a style binding to the thing. So now this is not how to do it, but we could do it this way. So we could give it a little div, and we could actually just move this into here and say that, and it's gonna work. No, there's some kind of error also.
This is much more exciting than before because this is almost, this is changes that we made.
Exactly. Bugs we have created. These bugs are, oh no, I think it's probably just, has it broken? No. Okay, so that is actually working. Okay, so this is fine now. And if I create that, it should be, it's grayed out and then non-grayed out. So like something like that, but obviously correct logic in terms of figuring out, like, we'll just disable it and then, but I love the optimistic UI update. So that's quite a nice interface. And I'm guessing that is related to the Vue library here, or is that more generic? Is that also true of the React library?
It's sort of a combination. That's exposed in the root client, and then I wrapped that in a kind of a simple client, and then Daria had to break through the simple client to get to the root, the base Convex client to do that. And based on that feedback, I think we're going to expose those optimistic updates, that higher level client that I wrote.
Cool. Okay. So, that's fantastic. Okay, so basically, Yeah, this seems really nice. Like that at this level, though, this is very similar to Supabase in terms of like you're just
Yes.
subscribing to it like
Right.
a database, like a table. But presumably one of the strengths of Convex would be where you can have more complex computed state.
We could hop into that that list function and transform that state in there if we want.
Okay, like in the UI or in the...
Probably in the terminal. I mean, we could look at it in the UI, but we don't have right now. You still have, it's still linked to the file system. Yeah.
Okay, so we have basically
a directory
this...
called Convex. You actually, I'd be curious actually about the library. Could you command click through that API object?
Which one? This one.
So somewhere we say API. So that goes here, but if you command click on the properties of it instead. If you go back one and then if you click on add, I'm hoping it tops. Great, cool. So here, I guess add was the change, and then somewhere else in this file will be the list one.
Yeah, it's right at the top.
Great, yeah. So we could change this into a multi-line function where we, if there were other tables, we could query those. Or a common thing I'll do is just like transform the data a little bit. So change this into a 2-line function where we say const to-dos equals, and then that query, but then kind of hits home that like, well, it is arbitrary JavaScript, right? So you do get to do whatever you want here. So you can do some in-memory filtering. You could modify each of these properties, or each one of these. We could map over them and augment them with an additional property or something to hit home that it is sort of different than Firebase or something where it's not a direct view of the collection. What we're looking at is, if we could say, map over it and.
Would you also do something like could you even like perform a fetch here of an external? I know you shouldn't.
Totally.
But you could do something like that.
Yeah, in this we actually limit it so you cannot, and you have to write that in what we call an action. So we have these mutations and queries that happen very, very quickly, and if you want something with I/O, you need to use a third function type called an action, and those have some like less transactional properties. We don't want to be holding a transaction open in the database while you do that fetch. And because these are transactions by default, you have to do that in an action.
Yeah.
So a common thing you do is in the mutation, you'll schedule a function to run. It's kind of all that durable workflow stuff without some of the sugar.
Okay.
Where the thing you say is like, hey, I'd like you to run this, and then 10 milliseconds later, that other thing will run. That probably causes some change to the database, and then you see that the result of that reflected back.
And basically this kind of change, because then list is typed with the result of that, so it has augmented now. And then if I were to go in here, this isn't valid because it now doesn't have an augmented property. I love it.
Right. Yeah.
So, and then presumably then in the text here, I've now got access to that property type, in the template. So that is lovely. That is really nice. Cool. That's fantastic. What else should we see?
Sure. Yeah. And we could poke at more Convex. Let's see. Interesting pieces of this. It's pretty cool that Daria set up that preloading. That's something that usually in a Discord I'll give people as a recipe, a manual thing where they say, hey, when you hover this link, load these. Anyway, so I'm still impressed with that. The declarativeness of the loader, getting to specify that metadata on the loader in one spot so that I have that available for whichever link I'm visiting. That's pretty cool.
I think I would like, so there are a couple of things I think we could do to improve that. Maybe we can refactor that a little bit. So one is that we have the sort of dot loader. And I think probably we want to change that a little bit so that because loader seems pretty generic to me in terms, because again, I think we want to tie it to Convex. But I also think we can make the types better for it. So right now we have, this is an unknown property. So we can augment it. So we can basically declare module app, and then we have interface page meta, I believe, and then we can do something like whatever the loader does. And that should now be typed as that kind of thing. And it will also constrain you now when you define it. So here, it has to be defined as that kind of thing. And I think that's fine because let's see what the root loader would be. Oh, this is from Convex View. So basically it would be something like this. it would have to be like a typed root loader. So we would say something like that, I guess. Unknown. And so, why is that? Any root loader. Okay, so basically now I think is that still going to work for us in our to-dos page? Yes, that's good. And actually, I think we don't probably even need, I wonder if we could just drop that. So now we can actually just directly expose an object and still have typings. Is that going to, like if I, no, why not? At this point, it might be that this isn't in the context, TypeScript context of the project. So I bet you if I pop it in here, this might work. Let's see.
Let's see, it's missing some imports.
It's still not. Okay, so basically it may be that we just have to make it a define root loader, and that's got to be good enough. So, but this, I think this is still giving us the types for this. But it does make me wonder if I pass something wrong into it, like I should get a complaint. Why is that not giving me a complaint? I think it must be, that's something to look into, but I think it might be a product of the fact that this is in a monorepo rather than in general. I think you would get complaints. So, but anyway, we have the loader. Let's see what we would want to do. So basically what we would want to do is run this, I think. So then we're going to like run the update, and I think basically this is the root. I think we're passing the root to the args, and then I think we need to somehow get access to the client, which is coming in from use Convex. So we would just pull it here. Actually, it's this, right? So we would just be able to do that, and then we would need to, like, we're dropping support for like the schedule preload and the cancel preload, so that like we're losing some options here. But I think the idea of making it like effectively built in would be the benefit, like quite beneficial. So like, let's see, if we now don't have the convex link, if we try using it here and say, okay, except now that everything is being prefetched, but we can say, what? No prefetch. So now that's just bog standard Nuxt. And what we have, hopefully, is some way of...
That's pretty cool that prefetching is high level enough that that's the case. I would just assume prefetching was just stuck with, like, stick the stuff in the cache, but that's great.
Well, like anyway, this is is doing something. Let's see. So console log that seems reasonable. We home. Is it doing anything? No. Why? Maybe we're not pulling it from, oh, do we need to do matched like that? Let's just log some stuff out. Oh, that's interesting. Right. Come back to me. So we have our module, and it is registering the plugin, right? No, haha. Okay, it's not registering the plugin. That plugin is never running, so, which is fine. So that is okay. So this is a plugin, and it does raise the question why it isn't. But we can add a plugin, and it will basically be resolve runtime plugin, and but I guess where is this happening then? If it's not happening in a plugin, oh, it's happening in it's happening. Okay, so basically it's happening in the playground. So and we basically probably need to port this back into the module. Oh, but it was in the playground because he was playing around with like getting the auth state set up. So basically, right, that makes sense. But at the same time, let's comment it out for now. So basically, it was this. This is what was running. So in the plugin, we have this. Create convex view client, and then it's this. That, for some reason, is not exported. Should be this, I think. Okay. So basically, this is now the plugin that should run. Let's restart the server and see if that works. Okay, it doesn't provide an export called use action. Oh, that's because we renamed it. So we want to...
Right, convex action.
Where are we using use action? In the... Oh.
The playground stuff in there?
Yeah, I'm wondering why it's not, because it should be just packages next playground, right? So where are we using that? Use convex. These are updated. Oh no, they were always updated. So
Thank you so much for doing the hard work of exploring this library, because I'm a little familiar. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, use action is being pulled in. Huh. In the module, what did we change? We said auto import use action as use convex action, use mutation, but neither of them are being used. They're just, this is just the
we weren't using the auto import things. Okay.
So like the use action isn't documented here. This still has some React documentation.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is fine, but oh, I think also we should update this everywhere it's used, because Convex client with SSR was obviously renamed at some point and needs to be replaced. There we go.
I think that was the I need to expose those optimistic APIs in that core Convex client, so he doesn't need to wrap it.
Ah, okay, I see what's going on. And are we complaining again? Still, I mean, yeah, okay, so we have, did I accidentally change? No, I didn't accidentally change anything else. So this is coming from here. So if I open that up, we should have a use action, right? But it's not accessible. Okay, so that's the problem. So it's actually not our code. There is just not a use action. Maybe the change we made, this just doesn't exist. There is no use action.
Okay, great. That makes sense.
So
that's an additional API that we have for doing the non-transactional stuff from the client, which is which is unusual because often you want to start with a mutation and schedule that stuff, but you can do it directly from the client. But you can build lots of apps without that. So it makes sense it might be missing.
Actually, it's already used convex action. That's the thing, which is great.
Okay, that's what he says. Great.
Cool. So that is fantastic. So there's no need to make those changes. That adds changes. But great that we're on the same page in terms of the need to have them as use convex
like that.
Something. Okay, so now it's all working as we expect. So we basically have our page. Our prefetch is running. We have a list of the stuff here. We have a loader, which is here. And we are actually then obviously able to load the stuff. So the prefetching is happening automatically. I think in Nuxt, I would like to expose different kinds of prefetching because at the moment, prefetching is just based on, is it in viewport? So it's not based on mouse over, is it in the viewport? And you may think that maybe we need to prefetch it based on mouse over instead, which is that may be a better idea. Because at the moment we do it based on payload with the idea that it doesn't matter when you prefetch it. The earlier the better. But you might think that for this kind of data, you want to prefetch as close to when you click the link. So that may be something we have to expose in Nuxt itself. But oh, that's beautiful. Just look at that. Okay, here we are. Click. Instant. That feels faster to me than it did before. Right?
Sure, yeah.
Previously there was a... So because now that we're using the native Nuxt prefetching, let me just do some commits so I can go back in history. So let's see. But so you can do that just for now in a workaround like this. So basically, so the wrap. So if we implement prefetching this way to do it based on when it prefetches, you could basically have your convex link be something that just handles setting the prefetch property on a Nuxt link rather than to trigger the prefetching, rather than having to manage the whole concept of integrating with a root and managing. So you could basically just do something like should prefetch false and basically say obviously you wrap it in a component, you don't have to have all of this logic, and you just do and hover and actually you would do something like mouse over equals true, and then what is it? Mouse enter, mouse leave. What is it? Touch pointer. Mouse leave. What's the event?
That's it.
Mouse leave. It is mouse leave. Okay. Although actually it's too late at that point, right? So I guess no point.
Well, it's interesting. It is a stateful thing though, right? This kind of prefetch is I'm actively subscribed to changes on this thing. So it would, or sorry, by too late, are you saying it's still worth stopping subscribing potentially?
Hello.
Did you feel love coming again?
I felt love coming.
Again.
Again.
Hi. here, Daddy. Look,
It's so high, and you can see the tree out the door.
it's out. It's so high all the way up here.
We're above all the cars.
To here.
Mm-hmm.
There. But all the colours down. There. And they're all down there. They're all on the road. And there. And how high is the sea? It's coming, and I will show you how high.
I think we were
I'm
just
not-
giving Daddy a quick cuddle, weren't we? And we're now going to
The last cuddles.
Good cuddle. Oh, that's a nice bow.
Did I split it? One week.
But then we fixed it.
How did I split it?
Maybe you were very strong. Cool. Okay, bye, Nelly.
Go back. This is my special phone. So it's on here, and it makes it rings every time when it's lunchtime at Kita at home when it's lunchtime. And I do this, and it rings, and it says lunchtime. And everyone hears the bell. Lou and the animal and Mummy, and they go to lunch.
Is it lunchtime now?
It's a lunchtime now, so
It looks like Megaderia is right, and it's not reactive. So like once you, so I mean this is the behavior then, like speed of non-reactive. So click and then it loads in, and whereas the other was a lot better because it was instant. And I think it must be that in Nuxt we must do it in the setup function, but probably it would be nicer to make it reactive in Nuxt. I think that would be quite a nice, like more granular control in general of a prefetching seems like a really good idea for this reason. So I'm just going to fire up and open an issue there, because like this, and also this is not just something it will be obviously it's not just something it will be a convex thing. Like we probably want to be able to. I would not even be surprised if I already have an issue. Let's just see. Maybe not. Let's just open that again and say is open Nuxt link. Okay, we don't. Okay, so more granular full control of like prefetching. So what I want to see is ability to prefetch on hover or other event. Ability to reactively enable prefetching. Oh, sorry. What am I even thinking? There is a totally other way of doing this. So basically, you can do it instead of like this. You can just say prefetch link to do like something. What do we have? Prefetch. We have prefetch components. I'm pretty sure we have a this thing. No. Oh no, we don't. Okay, I think we should also expose that. So reactively enable prefetching or expose composable to trigger a prefetch preload of a page. Cool. I think those are some things.
What's the reactively here mean?
Oh, the reactively means, so in our example, we were setting this should prefetch to true, and then we were passing whether or not we should prefetch based on that. But actually it isn't reactive. So if you change the value of prefetch, if it starts off false and you change it to true later on, it doesn't do anything. So the what it should, and you can see that in Nuxt, that what happens here is when the setup function first runs, so when the component first runs, it checks should prefetch enabled, and if it is, we then add a listener and then we do the prefetch. But if you later change it after this point, it never sets up that thing again. It's a one-time setup. So prefetch doesn't, like, mostly view components are reactive. If you change a prop, the behavior should change. And so in this case, we probably don't want to set it up just once. We probably do want to be reactive on whether we should prefetch or not.
Do you have this is going wide. Oh, go ahead.
No, go for it.
Or like I ran into this for, I end up just writing out every one of these props in React, or every one of these. Here are the ones that are reactive, and here are the ones that are not. And hopefully I'm just wondering if there are conventions for this kind of thing. But in general, more reactive seems good.
In general, Vue would be reactive on everything, or Nuxt would be reactive on everything.
Yeah.
So for it not to be reactive is an unusual thing. Can I propose that we take a tea break and top up on any beverage that you might need, and we join in about 5 minutes?
Terrific. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I will see everybody back in 5 minutes.
Shoot, I should.
Oops, that was me.
Everything
I
he's been saying has been
muted.
great.
There we go. Is that better? Can people hear me? Yep, sorry, that was me. So what I was saying was so yeah, nobody heard any of that. So I was saying basically I'm slightly out of breath because I've been doing this push-ups challenge, and people have been incredibly generous. But along the way, a number of other folk, including Mayul, has joined me. Hey Sylvia, you're still here. I'm amazed. Okay, and he has proposed. So he's been accompanying me along the way, which is amazing. But he has proposed doing 500 today. 500. So like that's a lot. That's honestly that is a lot. I thought I was doing a lot, but like 500. That is a totally. That's a lot anyway. So I know, slightly out of breath.
Wow. Crazy.
Okay. So where are we? We're writing, so ability to prefetch on hover, or other by setting prop prefetch to true later on. Expose composable to trigger a prefetch preload of a page. Preload prefetch. I think that kind of API makes sense. And I think push-ups just don't. It's not. They don't necessarily. They're just a very particular thing, which is probably. I don't know. It's good because it forces a bit of aerobic exercise. It's very good for. I do feel sore after the month. I won't lie. What else? So Tom, like obviously you're coming at this from a a different perspective. What kind of control over prefetching would make sense to you? Like would be a thing that you think would be a useful thing for a framework or library to have?
Yeah, well, okay, so for Convex in particular, because they're subscriptions, I guess if, say, I were to mouse over a whole list of links, the being able to, prefetching is an active thing for this, right? Like it is a, and if I moused over a bunch of links and then all of a sudden I had more traffic to my computer because I was subscribed to all the links for all of those pages, I guess that'd be unfortunate. So the thing that you tried to do before of reactively turning it on but then turning it back off is pretty interesting to me. Also the declarative thing of I'm blown away by the loader stuff. Of course, right. Prefetching is related to, and I'm seeing that the way that Darius built this. It's related to the other kind of prefetching. I mean, server-side rendering, and that relation here has been interesting to see. It makes sense to store that together. And I haven't done anything in our other libraries. We don't have anything that binds those in that way, and that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Otherwise, it seems pretty slick to be able to. I don't know. I've read a little bit about people doing the link over stuff. Of course, you could. In view doesn't seem too bad, but as a default, maybe that's a little scary. And it also makes of course us think about the Convex client. Like if we had full information, this is probably too much configuration, but if we had the full information, it would be. I mean, I guess you'd want to know, hey, this person's is 3 seconds away we don't need that much time. 200 milliseconds away from clicking. That's why the hover seems nice.
Yeah. So, and would you do that fresh? So basically, like imagine someone mouses over the thing, but they don't click it.
Yeah.
But you preload it, and then now they do it again a couple of seconds later. Would you think, actually, we want the fresh data now?
Well, that's the behavior they'd get now, I'm sorry, that is, yes, that's what. So in Convex, if that initial prefetch is going to be ignored, we will never show stale data, basically.
Yeah.
You have to, if you want to ever see stale data, you have to implement that on top of the client. So we would want that to be refreshed because otherwise it won't actually be prefetched. You'll go to that page and maybe it will SSR if you have, if that was stored in some other way, you'll get that stale data. But in general, Convex tries to always give those consistent views. So yes, we would want it to happen again.
But I mean, what would happen if it hasn't changed? So you prefetch it, it's 5 seconds ago, and you click the link, but the data hasn't changed, and so Convex will just check that it hasn't changed and then not do anything?
Convex will drop it out of the cache if you say you're no longer subscribed. So if it was, for example, when you hover over you prefetch it, but then you move your mouse away and we have a 5-second timer or something that says, all right, unsubscribe after 5 seconds or after 10 seconds or something, then we'll drop it out.
Okay.
Which is is extreme as a behavior, but it's what's the word? It's precise, sort of. So if you want to say, oh, I'd actually like to stay subscribed to this data for an extra 30 seconds after I hover out or after I leave the page, that's a common thing, right? Like, I was just on a page. It's very likely I will return to that page soon. Hold on to those subscriptions for a minute or something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But that is pretty particular to Convex. So I'd be. It sounds like the amount of configuration you're talking about would be sufficient to do that. And if I get to run code on, I mean, if we didn't have the mouse off thing, then I would just say, great, the default will be after 30 seconds, you stop subscribing to this thing.
Yeah, it might be like listening to this. It might be that it might be that this does in some way need to be implemented as a convex link, because like some of this isn't abstractable easily.
Yeah.
Like the idea of like hovering and then being able to remove something when you're no longer hovering over it. Like that doesn't fit neatly into the link prefetch behavior. I still think all that I'm saying that we need all of this. We need the granular control. But I think maybe, Megadary is right that actually you want to render a Nux link with these event listeners, and then you want to be able to, but I think it's possible some stuff still could be abstracted away into the loaders. So for example, you would get a slight performance benefit anyway by adding a Nux middleware that basically checks before you're about to navigate to the root, and actually just starts the subscription instantly. So even before the component is loaded. So like the page component is loaded, and even before anything else in that setup function runs, like you can just basically pull it forward. In some cases, like if other data is being fetched, the setup function might take longer to run, and you can basically get it going instantly. Salma, hello, welcome. So, but I think that would be an optional thing that could be added in the what amazing emoji is this? A goat emoji. So if people don't know Salma, she's great, and you should definitely go subscribe to her on Twitch, and also there's some kind of there's a game which I have not yet figured out how to play, but she's implemented this game. So there's stuff that is spawned even when she's not streaming, and I somehow need to figure out how a croissant. I need to figure out how you can claim these things and build an inventory and like move around in the zones of her Twitch chat. Is that not extremely cool and clever?
That's so good. Yeah.
Like here, there are people playing it like right now. So Lars has just moved into the desert zone. Crazy. Okay. Oh, you can move and
every
claim.
time something follows. Cool.
So he's claimed something in desert. So I'm going to try and go to the forest. And I'm going to claim.
Lars might be right ahead of you.
I don't think he can. I think it's 1 move a day you get.
Oh, got it.
No! So what is coal? It's coal. No, I moved into the forest. It is a croissant in the forest zone.
It is a croissant, right?
I'm so confused. There should be. Ah! Pantherbot Salma, you're anyway. Oh, you can move whatever you like.
I think
Really?
Lars might have just beat you to it.
He must
But
have
that's
done
the
it.
second one. I'm not sure what happened before though. Yeah.
Basically, this is my. What you can
That's
you can
gameplay.
fight.
The desire, seeing someone else get the thing you want, that makes me want to come back for more. That's good.
I know. Okay, he's already claimed coal. He's already claimed the croissant.
You're getting desert. You want to claim a whole zone? You're just gonna go. You get the whole desert.
But look. I have no inventory. Like I have nothing. I am a penniless pauper. I have no items.
Oh.
Like that is my life. Okay, so this is yeah. Okay. Oh, I see. You can go back and forth and snatch it from each other. That's interesting. So it's whoever's more dedicated to typing.
I see, because you're not taking it, you're just claiming it. And then someone else can show up with a flag and say, we have a flag and we've planted it. Yeah, huh.
Okay. Okay, I'll move to the city then. But I have no idea what is there. Okay, I can locate.
The urge to type look or something is strong.
But Salma, how can I know what stuff is around? I'll just try. I'm going to claim coal. What else might there be? Claim goat. Claim. Aha! No. Look. Okay. Claim parsnip. Claim aubergine. Claim lime. Claim artichoke. Yes, we're doing this, people. Claim carrot. Ha. Claim stick of butter. Nothing. Okay, so we'll just write a script that's just gonna go around and claim everything and see if anything happens. Oh, madness. Madness. But anyway, tell me this isn't extremely cool and amazing. So
Pretty slick. This is great.
So anyway, I do think it makes sense to have the ability to sort of trigger these prefetches and also to have something that's a little bit more granular. And
on Convex side, I think it makes sense to provide behaviors at this level of like, hey, prefetch is that's a commonly understood thing. We could have some kind of default behavior where prefetch means stay subscribed for a little bit. And Daria said earlier up, what was it? Oh, kind of wish the Convex cache stale time was configurable, which is I mean, there's a few different, like, we're kind of have to reinvent caching a little bit for the subscription kind of thing. And one of those things is maybe you debounce subscription updates on the server a little bit. One of those is like, all right, there is a stale time. And on the another is say, hey, some queries can be stale, right? It's really only important to have a consistent client view if you're joining between two queries. Otherwise, all you get is some visual inconsistency, which we're all used to from polling. So yeah, that absolutely makes sense, Daria. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think, is there anything we can do here to make this plugin work? So, like as expected. So, because at the moment we have the convex link, which basically has to handle the cancelling preload as well, and sets a timeout. So, how is schedule preload used? Oh, that's mouse enter. And right, okay, I see. Oh, but it doesn't unsubscribe. Right? So this basically just calls this. And then it just clears the timeout. It doesn't, the timeout is just the timeout for preloading. So it just runs that thing once. It doesn't unsubscribe at any point. But you're saying we would want to unsubscribe. Like you would want to do
yeah. So there was that where it said client.unupdate. That returns a callback to unsubscribe.
Okay. So, yeah. And, yeah, I see that. Okay, and so basically, you would ideally want to unsubscribe when mousing out. Or otherwise, every time you hover over a link, it adds a new subscription. And they just build up, presumably.
Right.
And if you call...
Or set a timer and say unsubscribe in 10 seconds or a minute or something, yeah.
Okay, that might be even a better solution. Because if you're expecting someone to click... Okay, but basically, I'm not sure I should be fiddling around with this particular code. I think Megadaria can take it, but maybe I'll just push this all up to a branch so that it's accessible in case any of it is useful. So is that hopefully that would be useful for Megadaria. So cool. So example implementation of hooking into link prefetch. Right. So I will stick all of that up and open a PR. And hopefully that might be useful. Oops.
There we go.
Oh.
Commit these. Oh, Megadaria is maybe raining on our parade here, saying.
Oh, what does he say?
Plugin needs to be user. Well, actually, you should read this. Yeah.
The auth state. I think you might be able to. There might be a way of making that, either specifying that in the options or you're thinking with. There might be some way. I'm just wondering if there is a way. But anyway, but you obviously having anyway that feels like a. But yes, I can see that. Okay, so basically, hope that some of that is helpful. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
I would enjoy using that, I think, in a project.
And this is maybe trying to goad you into some, some wisdom. But what you tell me about this situation? So I'm employed by this company, Convex. I've written some of the clients. I've written the clients this is based on. Megadaria is a community member, someone that's using Convex. It's receiving no compensation for this work. You're obviously receiving no compensation. I did my Twitter trick to get you to tell me about this. Do you have thoughts about how? Happy to code more, but this is just having watched some of your streams. Interested in your thoughts on what do I do as someone with some power in this kind? What is the right way even for these to work? Like the Firebase extension, who maintains that for Vue, and is that like Mongoose is really interesting to me, where Mongo has this thing that the official client's for, and then there's Mongoose, which is this unofficial client, which is sort of more popular and community maintained, and it's sort of advantageous that it's maintained by the community. And like I'm approaching this project as this is Megadaria's project. I would like to be familiar with it so I can contribute, and it's been great to be in connection with him so he can say, hey, the underlying API should provide these things. And then obviously I'm, it's also part of my job to try to make these clients exist and be good. That's my, not much of a question, but yeah.
so here's some pieces. So one thing we do in Nuxt is we have a Nuxt modules repository, like GitHub org, where people from the community can maintain their own modules. They can obviously maintain them entirely in their own namespace, but if they want, they can come in here. They'll get an @Nuxt.js npm namespace. So it's not @Nuxt, which is the core Nuxt things. It's @Nuxt.js, which is for community stuff. And it means that there's a little bit more closer connection. So we can review the code, provide suggestions. If the author ever disappears and there's a new maintainer needed, we can help with it, like the transition. So that's one thing. I personally think that so I mean so I can see merit in both having individual, like a community plugin or whatever that's fully maintained outside of an org. The other option, of course, is to say to the community maintainer, do you want to maintain the official module? And invite them in. So that's another option. I don't know if that's likely to be governed by like org decisions and so on.
Sure, yeah.
I honestly think compensation makes these things really, really tricky in open source, because you don't like. I think for me as a contributor, I like to feel valued. So I like to feel like what I'm doing is valued. So being linked to, for like, imagine, I'm not speaking for Megadaria at all, but like if you build an integration for a platform, and then for the platform then to recognize it, to say this is great, maybe to give a sponsorship as well, to say thank you for the work done, like that's really nice. I think it's less about the monetary value than it is about the appreciation and the feeling of being, part of it, at least for me. And but I mean, equally, for example, if I built, I don't know if you would feel more comfortable if you had control over community extensions. I mean, again, from my point of view, I wouldn't ever mind, like, if I built something and the org was saying, well, or the commercial entity was saying, we'd like to maintain it, I wouldn't mind that either, but I would typically still want to be able to be involved with the project, or to sort of, be a maintainer of that repo. I don't know. I'm just wittering away here.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, right. Those are the thoughts I'm like. I could ask Megadaria, like, hey, once I get up to speed, because I'm not yet, and this helped a lot today. I certainly I'd like to be making PRs, and then there's the next level of like, hey, Daria, if I was contributing sufficiently, like, could I be a co-maintainer of this thing? But I think I have to, I have to earn that a little bit. And then there is like, asking him what we'd like to do with this, and then there's just the surface area where we can say like, look, we're gonna, Vue and React are kind of the two that we're going to do official, and then there's a long tail after that, and that we need to, or just thinking about all that. It's kind of
personally, I think if you have me looking at an open source like library, if you have packages which are like, if you had integration packages, that's the backend. If you had like an integration packages which were like React, then it would be nice if you also had like the Vue one, and you also maintained that centrally. And if you felt that people in the community were essential as part of that, then having them as maintainers of that repo feels like it makes sense as well. So I mean, that's just
that makes sense,
it feels like it would be more official than, it's got backing, it's got support, it's got whatever it needs from the core.
It's our React one is like actually in the like Convex JS core thing. If you
okay. Yeah, so it feels like it belongs here, right?
Yeah, and we've kind
But-
of, we've been getting by with, oh, there's only one, you npm install convex and everything is in there. And with the thought that like, well, we'll have to split these out. At least at some point, everyone's peer dependencies will step on each other and we'll just for package management, we'll need to split these out. And
yeah,
so
I would think so.
So far, that was, yeah. What's that?
No, I agree. I think you probably
yeah.
need to split them out at some point.
Yeah.
It feels like so because again, like even if you added like solid or svelte or something, like at some point you're really not wanting to install a package and it has a hard dependency on like Next.js or on React even. So but yes, it's a pain obviously when you first do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you think about it, it's just one extra line in the docs. So like you have a
Sure.
at Convex,
Totally.
but
And that's actually when we had 2 years ago when I got here, and it was kind of like, hey, we need someone to do this JavaScript stuff. We had separate things for, we had a lot of separate packages. The early thing I did was just slam everything together to have less to maintain and less version skew things to worry about. But with the plan that, based on these dependencies, we're going to need to do this. So that's absolutely a planned thing. Yeah. And like right now we have, what is it? React Auth0 and React Clerk are packages in the core repo. And we get a lot of requests for, did you know there's other auth providers that we're really excited about? And so there's some stuff that's legacied in that doesn't need to be there. And we'll stay there for a bit for backward compatibility, but it would make sense to split some of these things out.
yeah. I mean, how many sort of, because I mean, another option would be to have sort of to opt for, like thinking about frameworks. So basically, Next and Nuxt are both like meta frameworks. They're consuming stuff often that like Nuxt might consume something that's built for Vue, for example, like Convex Vue in this case.
Sure.
And so you can imagine a world in which you have the Vue integration in this repo. I mean, I don't have a point of view, like I have the Nuxt
Sure, yeah.
like I have everything, it doesn't matter. But like if you're trying to reduce what your surface area, like if you have your surface area be like Vue and React and maybe whatever, like then that you're sort of limiting your UI scope. And then you have a separate package, which is the Next integration, the Svelte kit, like wherever then you're starting to pull in servers and full stack and stuff like that. And so that's, a little bit more complex. But also it's a legitimate like separation. You're saying we have the UI primitives. And I know like integrations who do that. So they'll have the Vue one in core and the Next one will be like a community module, which might live in the like Next modules org. But the problem is if you also have auth providers, like that really does open up your
Absolutely, yeah. And we're doing there's lots of auth. You can see, I mean, this Convex.js React package.json. This is me attempting to do the node, trying to hit all the module resolution types and make them work. So this is just a stub file, as you can see, that points to the actual, the stuff over in the dist, so that TypeScript node, module resolution node 12 still works.
Yeah.
All the sources, over these source things.
Yeah, it looks like you have maybe even a dependency on. Yeah, that's a lot.
We've got a lot of optional dependencies. Yeah.
Okay.
So we say, but that's still going to cause it. That's I think going to be if we don't get around to it sooner, that'll be the thing that forces us. It's like, all right, these you need different sets of things for your different optional dependencies. Optional dependencies are tricky in some ways, so we'll need to stop doing that. Yeah.
It's the first time I've seen an comment in a package JSON.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I made that up. It was very much what's the thing you're allowed to do? / it by the spec of the convex of package.json is supposed to be allowed. but I'm not sure about // stuff. I saw that.
Sorry,
comment
like
somewhere.
/ within a key.
Yeah, well, at the top level of a package.json, I think Isaac said at some point, hey, this is guaranteed to never be used for anything. If you want comments, you can use that.
Like,
Quote
this.
// Yeah, right.
Okay.
And
so
my
like,
read of that was, okay, great, I get one comment.
exactly.
But I want more comments. So I guess I'm assuming here that, like, great, there's nothing that will have an exhaustive list of keys. I get to just add my own keys. I hope I copied that comment from somewhere, but I might have just made that up.
Well, I mean, I know people have used all kinds of things. I mean, it's why basically, I don't know, did we talk about it on Twitter? Because Bun obviously released
Yes,
support
right. No, I didn't want to, yeah, absolutely. Right. Very interesting to the TS config style where it's like, except that that's maybe a little more okay because they've always done that. And we have tooling, we have code in Convex that will break if you have comments in their package.json because we parse it and try to look at it. And yeah.
So if you are interested, we have a UnJS library called package types. And it supports a number of utilities like read package.json, resolve package.json, tsconfig as well. And so it can both locate it, so you can find it. You could like pass a either a full path to a folder or even just a package name, and it will grab the package.json of that package or of that folder. But it also supports automatically handling non-pure JSON. So it tries first to JSON parse it, and if there's any error in JSON parsing it, it falls back to a slower but spec-compatible JSON-C parser, I believe. So let me just confirm. It might be JSON 5 as well. So that means that, so that means we have, like, if you are wanting to do that, like to parse something, and you're aware, and you're thinking, well, this might be a world in which at some point,
I mean, what I'm wanting to do is to outsource that decision to folks that have thought more about it, because it's kind of like, well, I certainly want to write the code, but I don't want to have a position. All right, we have to think through, right? Like, is this introducing incompatibilities by implicitly endorsing this? Are we going to run into problems? But that sounds great.
Yeah. Ooh, for some reason I haven't started this, but basically, so this basically has parsers for a lot of different things.
Nice.
And so we use that to handle the.
Gosh, here's another question. So we have a simple config file, convex.json, where right now there are about 3 settings. Most projects don't have one. A week before Bun added or announced they wanted to add comments, I was saying, all right, what config format should I use for this kind of thing? Do you have a? But it's that same kind of thing. It is. Gosh, I'd love to have comments in there, which I think means I'd like to switch the extensions. But what's C12?
C12 is a configuration loader, so you can we use it in Nuxt. You basically can do load config. It supports things like default values. You can pass like custom config file names. It will auto detect the extension that's used. So by default, it supports all extensions, and basically finds the first one. It supports .env if you want it. There's a lot of features, and it's used by lots of projects. So even Tailwind.
Great.
And I'm not sure Tailwind uses it. I think they use Jitty, which is a different thing that was also from UnJS. But yeah, check it out. It can even support like loading some keys from package.json if you want. Like if you had like a convex key in package.json, it could use that as your config. But everything is fully configurable, so it's
cool.
Check it out, basically.
Slick.
Might do.
This is great. Can we just go another hour? You can just tell me all these things I need to do this work. This is fantastic. Okay, great.
Check out unjs.io, by the way. So there's a lot of things there, but I mean, obviously, it's better to sort of chat about it in person. But a lot of cool things like HTTP tunnels, unwasm, yeah, Unbuild, obviously. Unplugin is Anthony Fu making amazing stuff that works with across builders.
Interesting. Cool.
Unhead is actually works cross framework. It's not just there's a Vue, but there's also others too, and that's Harlan Wilton doing great stuff. Obviously, most of this is Puya Parsa, who it's his baby, but lots and lots of great stuff here worth checking out.
Cool. That's plenty of homework. That's great.
But yeah.
Cool. I guess I also, since you haven't cut me off yet, I would like other. Do you have any thoughts on this? So not to critique Daria's unfinished work, but do you have other things you would look for in a? I guess I want to jump to other backends as a service. Like, what would you expect from like integrated auth would be one, I guess, but like what would Firebase provide? What would Supabase provide? What would you hope that like, all right, this is basically the backend for my app. Most of the code I run is going to run on this service. Convex provides, you've got cron jobs, you can schedule things. We've got a little vector database. We've got a full text search that's transactional, which is very cool. There's all this stuff that the server side interfaces are pretty figured out, but it really is about that slick integration with the front end is at least makes it a lot easier to get started. People that use it for really large apps often are using it sort of as an API. They're like, look, I've got this API. I use it both in my web apps, but I need to define this backend stuff. Ooh, Rurex says easy automated backup is one I can think of. And right now our automated backups are, hey, here, hit this endpoint, you'll get a full backup, but it's your job to hit that endpoint once a day or whatever. So that's a good one.
So what are some thoughts? So I see you have multiple environments. Which is, so we have dev, production, preview. So that's great. Preview is paid. But you have dev and production, which is great. I guess, is offline support, was there any merit in that? It's just worth raising. Probably not. But just wanted to sort of mention it.
Where offline here doesn't mean the developer's on an airplane. It means your users are on an airplane or in a subway, right?
I was thinking, yes, as a developer, you were offline or whatever. So that's an option. Yeah, having users who are offline is also perhaps relevant.
Yeah, we just open sourced our backend about a month ago, and the kind of still working on the tooling for that. Two separate things, right? There's local, be able to run the backend locally and do all your development against it, and then there's also the open source version that you could deploy yourself. But yeah, getting that to a point where both the latency is fun, like hey, my deploys are even faster, but also I can have a fully isolated setup that is. I can script in my own ways. I can spin up more of these. That's definitely I was just reading, I think, Sentry's post about how to package up a Rust binary with NPM, which is some similar strategies that as ESBuild uses. Where if you've got a binary, you want to be able to NPM install it. I might be working on that in a couple of weeks, just to be able to quickly get this thing locally, and that offline stuff is definitely important.
Yeah. So one, I love the sort of, I love the WebSocket real-time communication. It feels really solid. I love the idea of a reactive data, based on server information. I like how it's written in code. I like how it works. It seems to work on SSR as well in the playground, like hard reloading, and you're getting server data. So that feels really good.
And that's to Daria's credit, or Mega Daria's credit. That's something that he's added, which is great. I mean, we can do it, but what he's added is that nice putting it in the loader so it's declarative, so that because you can always just write a query somewhere in your client and not pipe it through, and in that case, it's not going to be there. So you do have there's that extra work of it's the classic how can I have a
Yeah.
component somewhere deep in my component tree that loads this stuff, and still have all that.
So, do I have? Do you have any information about where this lives? Like,
Sure,
is
yeah,
it
yeah. It's all on the place in Virginia where a lot of stuff lives. So there's plans for
U.S.
like
East?
you said yeah. So there's plan for some read replicas, but the plan right now is like no, every write goes through that service right there.
Okay. So
But your question was, do you have information about it? And that could be a clearer thing. You could say like, hey,
Yeah.
by the way, this is this thing here.
This is where it is, and also like speed. I think is a really, because basically the thing, like
Yeah.
what does it actually look like in terms of making obviously optimistic updates. That's a really clear way of doing an optimistic update. It seems quite nice. So the file is, can people upload files to it, basically, as in can
Yes,
users?
there's kind of file storage as well. Yeah.
So it's like an S3. So
Yeah.
the
just
data
as
is
the S3
basic.
wrapper.
Okay, so data is like so databases, webhooks, actions queries. So like it's your backend. The auth, obviously, I would have questions about auth, and I didn't really see it because we commented it out. So,
Right. Yep.
So
yep.
there's questions about that. Cool. Yes, no, that makes sense. You don't want necessarily WebSocket stuff going on there.
Thanks. We could be paying you hundreds of dollars for this, so I appreciate the off the cuff.
No,
Thoughts
I'm
on stream.
really
That's
happy.
free. Yeah, Flow Zero says, I think you should focus on what really early startups need: off socket payments, storage, and where we're at with that is like, yep, we have the WebSockets, we have the storage, payments. It's interesting. Some things we're providing via these templates. Just this classic for a platform. How what's the word? How how integrated do we go? How much of this is kind of plug and play stuff, and how much is for the community to add?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the more that we can, that you could have in terms of recipes or documentation of, here's how you do, because when you're building something, you might also not even know what you could do, and so like giving examples of how something might work. So this is just an example. This is not a different, like you can do this anywhere, right? So, and you were saying this before as well, like in an action, which you might do, which isn't necessarily a schedule. You might just have an action, right? So, or is it an action always going to be a scheduled function?
You can run them directly from the client, but that means it's just a normal backend function. So we get nervous in that, like, well, if you have an error, it's not going to be automatically retried. So we'd encourage people to schedule to fire off a mutation, and then that can schedule an action and do whatever retries and everything it needs. And that's kind of an inconsistency with the platform. Like, yes, you can if you just need something that's basically an endpoint, you can just run that directly from the client. But you can run it directly from the client. But in general, we'd like you to be setting up this stuff on the server to run so that you can, observe the result of that and say, oh, I see that this action failed and I have a record of that and all these things. Just like the client mediated stuff is always a little, I would say a little weaker, or just your guarantees are less strong. Or if a client initiates an action and then they leaves the browser and had a retry in the client, the classic like airline, hey, stay on this page to make sure that your transaction goes through. We would like to not have that, and the way to do that is schedule that thing, check in on it, say like, oh yeah, it has finished. And this is like durable workflow stuff that people get excited about from what's it called, temporal or ingest or anything that gives you some of that power, and you're sort of opting out of it by running an action directly from the client. That's just classic. I've written lots of servers this way, right? But that's just a classic. This code's going to run, and Sentry will send you an exception if it fails. But that's it.
So, like in terms of the functions, so the functions are just showing up here, automatically detected, and that's presumably because we have this mutation bit here, and you're doing an AST
Right.
pass, and right. So
We're
for the
doing
schedule,
actually, we just evaluate it. So we thought about
Okay.
AST stuff, but right now it is like you just send in the code, we evaluate all those modules, and then walk through the exports.
So how do you find the scheduled functions? Because it seems like this can run in any function, and you could even run this in a query, right? So in a query, if you don't await it,
In a
you
query,
can just,
we don't allow it, but in a mutation or an action, you could.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yes, you said that. But like this, I'm guessing if I add this line in a mutation, it's now going to appear here. So, but you don't evaluate it, right? You don't run the handler in, or maybe you do. Do you just run the handler?
Well, when you run this function, we'll run the handler. But during analysis, no, we don't. We're just we take all your code, you bundle it up, you send it up. We analyze it, find a list of all the functions that you have, and then we do some code gen locally, and that's why the API dot whatever would autocomplete.
Yeah, but I guess what I mean is, when does stuff show up? It only shows up here after this is run in production somewhere.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, we could do that right now
then
if you open this little functions thing. Go ahead. Yeah. But in here you can choose a function, and actually if you scroll all the way. Oh, actually at the top, if you do. Oh, we don't let you do test mutations yet. Okay. Well, I wanted to pull up this, and you can just write some code here and schedule a function. But as is right now, we only let you do that with queries, because it's a little messing with prod data can be a little scary. But the idea is, when you actually schedule something, that's when it shows up in this list.
Cool. Okay. So all right. So I mean, I just feel like it feels very nice.
Right.
I'm thinking about. So the things that I would be comparing it with, I would be thinking about. I used EdgeDB, which also has a sort of kind of really nice TypeScript integration. I don't think it has the same kind of like reactive query stuff, but again, it has like definitions in code, and it has a lot of things that can it would be a backend for a project. If you're looking at something like Superbase, I guess it feels like more of a close thing, and you can probably mostly implement a lot of the like computed stuff, as you said, but it would require manual like code on top of the database itself. At the moment, you go outside simply a subscription to a table with some, like, you can have some computed stuff. I didn't see anything about vector search in Convex. I see it on the homepage, but I didn't see anything about it in the dashboard.
Yeah,
I'm
in the
guessing...
dashboard. So the way you kind of get started with that is in your schema, you add a vector index. So there's this declarative schema format we haven't looked at yet, and in there you say there's just a file in projects called convex/schema.ts, and in there, in each of these tables, you say, by the way, I'd like a vector index on this field.
Okay.
So, and this may not have it probably has a schema. It's hard to get good type completion without a schema.
So let you do it.
So in here.
In schema.
Yeah, in this thing, right. And at the end of that, you say, I think it's auto. Yeah, this works. Yeah, define a table. Say that we had some messages that were text in them or something. And
then vector index.
Yeah.
And so basically, if I did something like, I don't know, description, and I wanted that to be my thing, I would do something like description, like that.
Yeah, I would hope it would autocomplete there, but yeah, I think that's right.
It is interesting why it doesn't.
Let's see. Also, it doesn't like vector index. Let's see. Vector index is supposed to be.
So
Let me look at this.
So I mean, it is
search.
getting the
Looks like
index name.
Vector index. Oh, sorry. The first argument, you just name it.
So
it's an arbitrary
anything.
name.
So this is going to be
and then
my vector.
Yep. And then there's an object here with fields that are number of dimensions. So this is okay. So sorry. There's more steps. There's certainly more steps than this, because if we just did this, we'd be saying, how do you want us to go fetch those embeddings? We don't have a built-in like LLM that's going to build those embeddings. So it's not actually going to work on v.string. We need another field. Instead of just, in addition to description being a v.string, we need a embeddings v.array of v.float64s. So in we don't have line numbers, but on the on the line below description v.string, if you could add another field to this, which is something like embeddings or embedding, I guess we're being singular here, v.array open paren v.float64.
Okay, and then that becomes.
And then that's the thing you should. Right, and then
in there.
Yeah.
And then we also need dimensions, and that's just a number, presumably.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of dimensions, it feels like. But okay, so cool. Cool. Rigora points out the integration question about Superbase being an example of one way of handling community integrations. So presumably, as I've been typing this, we now have some kind of data set. Because we haven't added anything yet. I guess we probably still need to add.
Yeah. No, actually, this is a UI question we were talking about the other day of. So if you go back to that dashboard, as long as our syncing has been running, it does have this code. And if you go to data, I think it won't have the table here. Let's see.
Okay. It does have the table.
Great. But it's empty. Yeah.
It's empty. But it's interesting that, so because I was already on to-dos, I'm clicking back to data. Like functions gives me, like I can click into and I can see them there. I wonder, it might be interesting to see about like providing greater visibility. I don't know.
Yeah, this is great. This is terrific. Yeah.
Once you know how it works, I think it's totally fine. But like what I would but like if you're talking about someone totally new, just sort of getting started like me, so you have this the fact that, for example, when I'm running a query, it's up to date and I switch back and it's already updated is amazing experience, because I'll be switching to my editor and I'll be switching back here. By the way, this is the thing for the next module before I forget. You should add a DevTools integration that basically pulls this UI into your app.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So Nuxt DevTools lets you do stuff here if we're still running the server. No, we're not. If we are running the dev server, you can do stuff like get started. You have like this panel which you can open and close, and it's got a lot of integrations, and you can add custom ones, and basically you get an iframe to play with as you want. And so what you could do very easily is imagine you have like the Convex UI down here, you have your website up here, cool. And you click into a table and you change a value and it updates like on your page. Fine. So you would get that zero context switching, which would be a very, very nice experience. So I think EdgeDB, which I was looking at, has a Nuxt module, which I was also looking at on stream. And so they have, I don't know if they give the example, like a screenshot. They do that basically. They do the same kind of thing where you have like your backend access in the DevTools. So that's worth doing, I think. And like we also have Drizzle integration and other stuff. But I would say Convex would be nice, and Megadarius seems like you'd be up for that too.
Cool.
Because what I was saying was the context switching between here I am in my app. I've made a change to my code. The schema is changed. Now I'm going back to the my dashboard, and what I want to see is an immediate indication that I succeeded, that I did a thing. Whether that is a notification that pops up and says like you've added this, click to go to it, or some clue on the UI that I've done something. Particularly, I love all of this stuff, like the code examples, right? Okay, so you've literally you're giving people stuff. Yeah, rather than just saying click here to go to the docs, actually the docs are there. Do this and something will appear here, which is great. And it feels like some kind of pop-up or toast or whatever as you are creating it. Means you would get like the real-time feel of I've changed my schema, switching back, and now I can click here to go there and see what I do next. That would be quite nice as an onboarding thing.
Yeah, totally. Makes sense. Great. Wow. Well, thank you for lots of free. If you were about to say more, I don't want to stop you, but thank you for more product advice. This is great.
No, it's absolutely great, and I'm really delighted. I'm delighted we're able to make this happen, and I hope it was hope it was helpful for you, or what you had in mind.
It's certainly helpful for me. I most hope that like Daria doesn't mind too much because I'm
really sorry. Let's just parachute into someone else's project into a branch that they haven't finished or even opened a pull request on, and let's just do some stuff there. So I am sorry, Daria. You are an amazing sport, and it looks great, by the way. Like I've no criticism. Like the module looks fantastic, and I hope some of the PR changes were helpful. But really up to you what you want to do. And I really look forward to seeing this and actually trying it out once the module's released.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think we should draw a line under it there, and maybe pick this up another day if there's see what comes of it.
Sure, yeah. Maybe if Daria could should join you, that'd be more. I learned a terrific amount from this, and I'm really glad we've done it because I will feel more comfortable. Obviously, taking Daria's feedback already, but on how to change the underlying clients, but also being able to advocate for this thing. Something I'm hoping to do, once this is published, is link to it from our docs, right? We want to have like the. Real quick question: would you want a view quick start and a Nuxt quick start kind of separate on a, like, say I'm landing on a Supabase, I'm landing on the Convex page, and I've got 20 quick starts there. My guess would be like, if someone wants a quick start, they probably want to be using Nuxt, and if they want, they'll be able to figure it out how to do it on their own without that. Or would you want to have a quick start for both? And again, these quick starts are just like, here's the recommended way to do this. Here are the 3 files I had to change in order to hook up the minimal example.
I would probably do separate ones because the Nuxt quick start would probably have a lot less code. So you wouldn't need to, for example, call app.use with the Convex view instance. Oh, you might not need to. Megadari might say you do have to initialize it. So it seems, I would like to think that people would be using Nuxt for this, but I think there's also merit in giving people options that are not Nuxt, particularly because if you're not using Nuxt, because I would hope that Nuxt would just be a much easier and simpler to do. But that means also that if you're having to do things in a more complex way, it'd be hard to figure out what you need to do if you're only given the simpler options. So
sure.
That's why I think maybe it would be good to have both. But
great. Okay, sorry, we were wrapping up, but I just more tidbits of knowledge. This is terrific. Anyway, so this is helpful, and I'm looking forward to actually contributing some to Daria's project here.
I'm delighted.
And
you can
sending you traffic, Daria. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. So basically, I'm just saying thanks, and I will be definitely watching this space in terms of what's next with Convex, and shall we go to and raid somebody, like finish up? I know, Tom. What time is it with you?
Oh, it's 8 a.m. I'm
8
about
a.m.
to,
So your day is about to start. Goodness, it was supposed to be
Yeah.
so early for you, like
Well,
5
no
or
problem.
something.
This is great. And now that I'm at work, I'm just gonna sit back for a bit. It'll be another hour before someone else gets here, I think. So I might have a little
Do you know?
breakfast.
Actually, I mean, I don't like that getting up. That is very, very, very early. Hey, Kowsasworth, thank you. That is super early, and I'm not sure I value that. But there is something wonderful in like being then, like there you are with a cup of coffee, and like you're ahead of the day, and like I don't know.
Absolutely right.
So
But the perfect for me was when I was working at Dropbox. Sometimes, rarely, I'd go camping midweek, and the feeling of like, oh, I just drove in from camp. I mean, you could do some work early in the morning, but the whole
Yeah.
like looking at everybody else and it's like, I slept in a tent last night, and I had some cowboy coffee at a campsite, and then I drove down. It's just yeah, anything you can do in the morning before you get to work for me just helps put my life in perspective a bit. It's like, well, this is not
Yeah.
this is kind of the focus of my day, but there's a lot of other stuff going on. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So enjoy, and I hope. Yeah. Anyway, it was a lot of fun, and I'm glad to actually get to hang out with you after just sort of seeing stuff on Twitter and all of that.
Same, absolutely.
Thank you everybody for joining. It's been a lot of fun. I'm going to propose that we go raid Bald Bearded Builder. He's really nice, and I think he might be doing his co-working stuff. But we'll see. I wonder if I have her over it. Yep, co-working. So it should be nice and chill, and lots of stuff to enjoy and so on. So everybody have a lovely day, and see you later.